Now I want us to look how to find what we call a fraction of a set. A fraction of a set means we have a whole number, a set of numbers. We want to find a fraction of that number. And so here's an example. It says Lee Hua bought a dozen eggs. And so let's draw a dozen eggs real quick. And it says she used 2/3 of them to bake a cake. So what we're after is 2/3 of 12. That's not if I have 12 of something, what is 2/3 of them? And so there's a few ways we could go about. I think the most obvious way we see it the first is we could say this. What if we divided them into 3 equal groups? After all, that's what thirds means. And so I could say, well, there we go. Each group is a third, right? I have 3 equal groups. So all the eggs is the whole 3/3. And so I'm interested in 2/3. So I could put a little question mark like a bar model. How many eggs are in 2/3? And we see that 2/3 of 12 is 8, right? 2/3 of 12 is 8. Now that's not the only way to do this problem. It can be easier to do it on a bar model. We'll get to a lot of word problems later where these kind of problems can be bar modeled until we figure out what operation to use. We could say that there are 12 eggs, which means each third is 4 eggs. And the question is, what is 2/3 of them? And so you could say, well, that's 8 as well. What I want to show you actually is an easier way. And the easier way I want to show you is that if I want to do 2/3 of 12, both ways I did it before, I divided them into 3 equal groups and then multiplied. So you notice I did 12 divided into 3 groups. Each group was 4. And then I said, well, there's 2 groups, so 4 times 2 is 8. Okay. But it really doesn't matter. We can also multiply first. We can actually take the 2 and do it times the 12 and put it over the 3. In other words, 2/3 times 12 will give us the same answer. 2 times 12 is 24. We put it over 3, and 24 over 3 is the same thing as 8. And that actually always works. And so it's good to remember when you have a fraction of a set, the best thing to do when you have a fraction of a set is just to go ahead and change of to a multiplication problem. So let me give you some examples. If I said 1/4 of 5, you see that's a little harder because I wouldn't want to try to put 5 into 4 equal pieces to do this. The easiest thing to do is just to say, well, what is 1/4 times 5? And 1/4 times 5 is 5/4, right? 1 times 5 is 5. We keep the 4, which is 1 1/4. So 1/4 of 5 is 1 1/4. You can always just change of to multiplication in these fraction problems. And we actually see it would work. If I had 5 pizzas and I wanted to put them in the, and I wanted to find out what 1/4 of them is, I would divide them into 4 equal groups. And so one pizza would go in this group, one in this, one in this, one in this one, and then this pizza will be split 4 ways, and each one would get a piece. I won't count out. You can recognize it's going to be 1 1/4. It always works when you have a fraction of a number. I even come sometimes over the of and put in a times sign, and over the is and put an equal sign.